How The Sims 4 and other simulation games demonstrate the meaning of life. Hear me out. I'm a huge fan of The Sims 4 and all the Sims games. As a panentheist slash panpsychist, these games actually really demonstrate what I see as the meaning of life. When you're playing The Sims, you might create several different characters to play as. Why do we do that? Because we want to experience being all these different people. I've played The Sims for years, played so many different characters, people who are sometimes like me, sometimes not like me. As a panentheist, I recognize that consciousness, like you have, I have, which I consider like awareness, beingness, things like that, our consciousness is all the same at base level. So take away everyone's culture, everyone's race, everyone's appearance, everyone's outside stimulus, all the things that have created this personality that you're experiencing now in this physical world, and you're left with a blank slate. But you still, even though you don't have a developed personality after that, you still have that beingness, that awareness, and that is your consciousness. What people call God, right, isn't really a person. It's more of an energy or source of our consciousness, or it's like as Carl Jung called it, the collective unconscious. So it's like a giant mind, so to speak, non-physical mind that our consciousness is a part of. And this kind of plays into panpsychism, where consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe. Imagine that you are this giant super consciousness or collective unconscious mind, and it's before any matter exists at all. There's no universe, just you. And you're the only thing that exists. That would be pretty lonely. That'd be pretty boring. So what you do is you kind of split yourself into all these different forms of life. Plants, animals, fungus, people. Well, people are animals too, but I'm talking like higher forms of consciousness or whatever. And you get to experience everything there is to experience. And someone might say, well, why would you want to experience bad things as well as good things? Well, what if you only ever experienced good things? You would never really know what happiness is. If you don't know true sorrow, you never know true joy. If you never know pain, you never know pleasure. When I play The Sims 4, for example, when I play all these different characters, they're still me. I'm like the collective unconscious mind, so to speak. I'm like the energy that exists in all these different characters, and yet they're each experiencing, let's say that my consciousness was actually inside of them, but I'm experiencing being all those different people, and yet they're all different, and yet they're all me. Does that make sense? So to me, the meaning of life is just to experience. It's just to, and in a way, grow and progress as well, become the best version of yourself. But really, I feel like the whole point is just to experience this life that you're in. And some people believe that our consciousness can come back multiple times, reincarnation. I believe that too. And there's several reasons why. Like, there's studies on it with kids who remember past lives and things like that. But to me, it just makes sense that we've gone through this human evolution. All life on Earth has gone through a physical evolution. Why wouldn't we be going through a spiritual evolution as well? So why wouldn't we have, a progression where we started out, like our consciousness was first in bacteria, and then it evolved into a plant, and then it evolved into an animal and such, and now so it's like a linear form of spiritual evolution. I really think that makes sense. And so you not only would have the meaning of life then of just experience, it would also be progression. I also like the idea in Hinduism, for example, of moksha. And in esoteric and other spiritual circles, they call it ascension, where you reach the end of your rebirth cycle. So you no longer reincarnate, you then just rejoin the collective unconscious mind. So to me, all of that makes sense. And I like that when I play The Sims 4, I can think about that and be like, yeah, I'm experiencing this character and I get to experience that one and that one and that one. And they're all me. But at the same time, I'm being all these different people. So I just don't hear people talk about it with that example very much. But to me, it just makes a lot of sense.